have another new segment for you tonight. Regular listeners of my radio show are familiar with the Geeky Science segment I've been doing for 8 years. My chance to share what I think is a really interesting science story every week. Science News is reporting this week that Stone Age, this is the story by the way, the Stone Age human ancestors living in South Africa's Pinnacle Point may have learned to keep track of the tides, the ocean tides, in order to harvest shellfish, and that their access to this food source, which is brain food extraordinaire, may have played an important role in human evolution. Archaeologists from Arizona State University have found artifacts in a cave in South Africa that attest to complex thinking and behavior, including lunar literacy, in other words, knowing about and actually keeping records, keeping tracks of the moon and the cycles of the moon, and ritual activities. These findings challenge the long-standing view that Stone Age people did not really think abstractly or perform complex rituals until about 50,000 years ago. So here's the deal. You know, one of the big questions has always been, why are humans the only primates who are basically hairless below their heads, other than the areas where the water lines would be, like, you know, if you were moving through the water? Why, you know, why would that be? Why is it that humans are the only mammal, the only primate anyway, that can give birth underwater, and the babies that we give birth to underwater they have a lot of fat under their skin, unusual for mammals and for primates, but it would insulate them in cold water. And the baby can actually breathe underwater, not breathe, the baby can live underwater without breathing as long as the umbilical cord is still attached. Babies can swim at birth. Human babies can swim at birth, other primates can't. And you know, why? Stephen Jay Gould, a famous scientist, he's now deceased, suggested that there was this thing called, this change to Darwin's theory of evolution called punctuated equilibrium. That what would happen was that every now and then, you know, evolution might move along slowly, but every now and then there would be some kind of a horrible disaster that would happen, and 99% of all the members of a species, it could be bacteria or it could be people, would get wiped out. And that 1% that survived were the 1% who carried with them an adaptation, a gene, a mutation that allowed them uniquely to survive. The aquatic ape hypothesis suggests this, that basically there was some kind of awful thing that happened 165,000 years ago, like a gigantic volcanic event. Huge wildfire, it produced climate change. Huge wildfires swept across Africa, or possibly it was surrounded by darkness and things didn't grow. Whatever it was, the wild animals came to the seacoast looking for food. The humans went into the water, and literally we stood in the seashore up to our necks for a generation or two. And the only humans who survived were those who were relatively hairless, so they were well adapted to the water, and who could give birth in the water. It's an interesting theory. Nobody really knows. It's very controversial. You can Google the aquatic ape and find out more about it.